Welcome to the bracket episode 122. Today we are debating what we think makes someone look tough, the signs that someone is a tough person. We have a very ragtag crew here today, an extra body over in Chicago. We have Klemmer, who's usually a New York guy, obviously, out in Chicago with his Green Bay Packers shoes. Rudy joining in.
Seattle Supersonic shoes, thank you.
Oakland
Seattle
A's.
Supersonics.
Yeah, Oakland A's,
No,
correct.
it says 1979 year I was born, thank you.
And we have Doogs' first appearance on the bracket.
Yep.
Very interested
Welcome.
to see. I feel like Doogs and Rudy are like a movable force for a stoppable object. Like I feel like it's gonna be very interesting to have them two in a single episode. I don't know why.
Battle of the Minds.
They're just like different versions of each other. Like
Yeah.
Doogs is like more fratty.
They are.
Rudy's more like alt.
yeah. That is a great. Yeah, this is a great description.
Yeah,
EDM versus indie rock.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, let's talk about Game Time. Game Time. We all love Game. If you've watched anything or listened to anything Barstool, you know about Game Time. You know that you can get tickets to basically any event you want. For us, I think we're going to be going to a lot of Yankees games this year. They're fucking great.
I went to the Ranger game Sunday with my dad. Great seats. It was basically on the ice. Made me look really cool.
Yep, Ranger games too. Yeah, I mean, Game Time gets us hooked up with everything, and you can get them for like the cheapest prices possible.
Next playoff games.
Knicks playoffs games coming up soon. That's right. Dukes, any PLL games? Or?
Yeah, PLL games all summer long.
Yeah, all summer long.
Yeah.
And that's right. You get it all with the Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. You shouldn't have to worry about when you buy tickets for the next event because Game Time, they're the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, theater events near you. They have flash deals for sudden discounts, zone deals for when you're feeling flexible, and their lowest price guarantee means that if you find the same seats for less anywhere else, Game Time will credit you for 110% of the difference. Game Time is the best place for last-minute seats with up to 60% off your favorite events. So what are you waiting for? I'm going to get... Would it make Stephen Chay jealous if we got Knicks playoff tickets, you think?
No, they stink right now.
They just beat the Bucks. We'll be fine.
The Bucks stink.
Well, the Bucks are a
right now.
mess.
Holy cow, the whole Eastern Conference is a mess.
Oh,
the
not
Knicks-
the whole East Conference. The Celtics.
Celtics are
pretty
very
good.
yeah.
What are what's Nick's seed right now?
They are
4,
in
I think.
They're the 4.
but
They're jockeying
they're
between
one,
3 and
they'll-
6.
Oh, so they're
3
there.
and 5.
Yeah. They'll be in the playoffs for
If they were healthy, they'd be dangerous.
if they were healthy. So yeah, ran a lot for the season.
So we'll get tickets to go watch Jalen Brunson in the playoffs, but we can do that with Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code BRACKET for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All right, signs that make someone look like they're tough. There's a lot of interesting options. There was one. This is, I think, and we're going to get to it later. The number 1 seed for this, I think, is the most singular submitted 1 seed we've ever had in any bracket ever. That anytime we ask for suggestions, usually it'll be very interesting, but I'll just see when we get there. But the first matchup of the day is number 5 versus the 12. The 5 seed is just an easy one. Big old muscles. Big old muscles. I feel like this is it's not always necessarily true, but for the most part is. And that's going up against the number 12 seed, asking, do we have a problem here? So,
Yeah.
hearing someone say, do we have a problem here? Is our 12
Oh my
12
God.
versus big old muscles at the 5. Let's start with you, Rudy. Which one do you think makes someone look more tough?
I think that a lot of these are going to be sort of the opposites, where there's people fronting on being tough, and it's actually a sign of not toughness. I think big muscles is no indication of toughness. In some cases, big muscles, I think, to me, is a sign of like wild insecurity. Like I feel like
It's so true.
I feel like the big dudes on the internet be crying the most. Like they have the
Yeah.
most feelings.
Yeah, we've said it before. It's extremely feminine.
It is.
Who's that
So
guy,
I
Bradley
guess-
Martin, that always has to like street fight everybody?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's not even he's.
Yeah, he's a lovable big guy. But yeah, he does always like be like, what if you think I could whatever. I think that do we have a problem here is definitely tougher because it puts the ball in their court. Be like, do we have a problem here? Like it kind of is like we can have action or we cannot have action. You know what I mean? Like your fucking choice. Like they put a menu out in front of you. It's like you pick. So I got to go with that, I think.
Put a menu in front of you. One for do we have a problem here, KB?
You have to have gargantuan confidence to utter that phrase. So you can't utter that phrase with a maybe. You can't utter that phrase and then oh shit, this is gonna be a close brawl. That over muscles.
Have you uttered that before?
No, God no.
I think there's such a big difference between that and saying like Like, what do you call it? Like, was there a problem? Like, there's different
There is,
versions
like-
of that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you
We're
gotta
being like,
say,
we don't have.
do
There's no
we-
problem here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's kind of.
I was saying, like, what's your
That came
problem?
very naturally to you, Tom.
Yeah, there's no problem here, right? Where everything's fine.
Yeah. Or saying, like, what's your problem is also just so much different. Like, do we have a problem? Is like,
The we brings
Yeah.
it
Is
together.
there a problem? That's
not the
good.
first time
Do
we've
the
said that.
two of us have a problem
Yes.
that we need to settle
Yeah.
right here, right now?
Somebody that says that too, it's never the first time they say it.
No, and they're usually stepping in. They're stepping into the group, like a group, and then they step in. We have a problem here.
Yeah. Chay?
I submitted muscle. I think that one's clear, but yeah, do we have a problem here? I'm trying to think, like, when Tommy was jacked, would I be more intimidated if he just like came up to me and like was imposing looking, or if he came up to me and just like, do we have a problem here? So I think it's gonna be the do we have a problem here? That's just, yeah, it's A or B. We're fighting or we're not.
Klemmer?
So I've seen, I've seen a lot of middle-aged women in like department stores yelling at store managers saying, "Do we have a problem here?" So I think that's kind of the Karen catchphrase in a lot of ways. So that somehow minimizes the toughness to me. So I'm going to go the other way and say muscles, but only because of that. That's the first thing that I visualize is like a 45-year-old woman screaming at a store manager saying, "Do we have a problem here?"
I don't think I've ever heard of a woman say it.
Yeah, I don't think of that either. I think it's just a tough guy stepping in to protect like his woman or something.
No, I see a very angry woman that just is not able to get a return on a blouse she bought a month ago.
But I think the woman is screaming that there is a problem.
Yeah.
She's not asking, "Do we have a problem?" She's like, this is
Yeah.
the problem."
Yeah,
That's a fair point, Tommy. That you might have sold me on that. I feel like I've had them say, "Do we have a problem?" But you're right. They're more like, "This is a problem."
Right.
and also like if a middle-aged woman said that to me and I was the cash at the cash register, I would give up in 2 seconds. I'd be scared shitless. Like again, she wins.
Yeah.
I've seen him say, like,
Also-
what is the problem here? I've seen women say that a lot.
Yeah. What's the hold
What's
up?
the holdup? What's
Yeah.
the
What's the
problem here?
hold up?
Yeah, they're always curious.
Yeah.
Honestly, the more we say
I'll
it-
still stick with muscles just so it has some sort of play here. But I'm not. Tommy made a really good point.
I think the scariest outcome is a middle-aged woman saying, "Do we have a problem?" to me.
Yeah.
Like that terrifies me. Like
There's
Yeah.
no
chill.
win.
Yeah,
You can't win there, Doogs.
yeah. It's do we have a problem? I think muscles is kind of like driving a Hummer. Like you're overcompensating for something. Like I immediately think if you're working out all the time, roided out, like you probably have a small package. I always kind of thought that. So it's got to be do we have a problem?
Do we have a problem, Tommy?
Yeah, it's show versus tell. The muscles is like, all right, maybe he's tough. Maybe he's just, masquerading an insecurity. Do we have a problem here? That guy means business. That guy absolutely means business.
Next matchup of the day as the do we have a problem here moves on. 4 seed versus the 13 seed. The 4 seed is just scars. You can think of the scar wherever you want. Scars look tough, man. There's something about them. I remember I was reading once, like apparently back in like, I think Europe in like the 1900s, they would purposely scar each other's faces like aristocrats so that they would look tougher. And they would say, "Oh, it was a fencing accident," but they would just be like cutting their face up with a knife. It's crazy.
25th hour, Edward Norton, like make me look ugly.
Yeah. And that's going up
Nazis,
against.
Nazis used to do that too.
That's it. That's kind of like what. Yeah. And that's going up against number 13 seed, Smoking Marlboro Reds. It's just one an image that's tough to get out of as far as toughness goes. Tommy Smokes.
It's tough. I feel like they go hand in hand. I feel like if you have a scar, you probably smoke Marlboro Reds. Scars are tough. Scars, like I have a scar on my left shoulder from when I got a cyst removed. It's disgusting looking.
not very
Dermatologist had to inject a steroid into it yesterday. She was like, this looks gross. Do you want it to look not as gross? So she was not intimidated by my toughness. But I do think a scar, the right scar, especially like a facial scar,
Yeah,
it's like that guy's been through some shit. He healed, and now he's tough. So I'll go with the scar.
Oh, my scars, I used to have a bunch of them on my legs, but they're all kind of gone. This one's still
Yeah, that's not a very tough scar.
not tough. That's from a saw. Went through a
Now
branch
that's a
into my
tough
leg.
story. That
Yeah.
deserves a tougher scar.
Yeah. Dukes?
Yeah, I think Marlboro Reds more of a cowboy thing. Like I think of like a guy in my fraternity smoking a Marlboro Red and being like, "You're not tough. Like you think
Right,
you're
you're a
tough." So,
poser.
yeah, I can't get. It's a scar. There's this one dad in my town, like one of my friends' dad. He has a scar on his neck, and I was like 5 years old. I was like, "How'd you get that?" He's like, "Don't worry about it." Ever since then,
tough.
it's like it's tough to get that image out of my head. It's got to be scars.
2 for scars. Klemmer?
So my dad smoked Marlboro Reds, and he was a tough guy. Believe it or not, he really. I don't know how I was born out of that, but he actually was like a legitimately like tough, scary guy. But I was at a bar in Florida, and there was a girl there that got her arm half bitten off by a shark. So
Bethany Hamilton was at your bar?
She was older than that, and I don't think she was a surfer, but it was that kind of situation. And I remember thinking,
sorry.
Yeah, well, she was older than Bethany Hamilton, and this was before probably Bethany Hamilton even got bit. This was like 2004. I don't know when Bethany Hamilton got bit. And I remember thinking this girl's really tough, but then I'm thinking like, why do I think that? She just happened to get bit by a shark. Like, it doesn't necessarily make her tough. So I'm gonna go Marlboro Reds.
Interesting.
I will say the worse the injury, the less tough you are. Being an amputee is not tough.
You get bit by a shark? Though? My reaction was, this girl must be so badass. I mean, like, why do I think that?
Amputee is not tough.
I kind of agree with you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the coward's
you
way
probably
out.
have a medical issue, or
You stepped on an IED.
oh yeah, it very much depends on how you got the amputation.
I think on its face, scar versus amputee, the scar is tougher.
If you lose your foot to an IED, that's like pretty tough.
Yeah,
you lose your foot to like
also,
diabetes, not very
I'll
tough.
fight an amputee.
Yeah.
Rather
easily.
Your odds go up, yeah.
The amputee has no choice. People are just like, oh, what a tough, like, it's so tough.
Would you think it's cooler for it to be like the girl with the arm bitten off by the shark, or like a chunk taken out of her arm by a shark? Like she has like a literal bite, like half moon out of her arm.
Is that how it works?
I don't know.
The permanent bite mark?
I don't know. This girl, I don't think they nibble you. I think they go all in.
Nubs over.
Nubs.
Flushes over.
Last year, I had an amputee in with no leg for a video. Shout out Jesse, great guy. But he came in jacked, no leg, wearing camo shorts. And in my head, I was like, oh, surely this guy was in war. Then I asked him, he was in like a car accident.
Oh,
I was like,
you can't wear the camo.
Yeah. It's definitely not my first thought, but
Jesus, Chay.
Sorry,
It was Scars versus Marlboro Reds.
Yeah, it depends where the scar is. Probably Marlboro Reds because that's like a conscious choice. Like scar, yeah, it could be an appendix scar. It could be a stretch mark scar. It could be like anything that's like not that intimidating to like someone that's gonna fight. So I'd say Marlboro Reds just because you're choosing to go in that route.
That's fair. KB?
Not with the cigs. I feel like that's a lot of like neo-libs are smoking Marlboro Reds, like Ethel Cain fans, like that. I don't think that's a tough move at all.
Vampire Weekend guys.
I'm gonna go, the Scar for sure.
Scar for sure. We're 3-2 right now. Rudy?
I was thinking Scar, but then Tommy reminded me that he has a scar, which does serious damage. I think the modern version of scars isn't as cool. I feel like back in the day, if you had scars, it was for something like dramatic that you got yourself into. You were like trying to hop on a moving train, like fleeing from the cops or something. Nowadays, it's like most people's scars are like they fell off a bouncy castle when they were 4. Marlboro Reds, in the history of cigarettes, I feel like people were like, oh, they might be okay for you. They're not that bad for you, whatever. I think that there's never been a time where people didn't think Marlboro Reds were going to kill them. They were literally called cowboy killers. So anyone that smokes Marlboro Reds is actively cool with shortening their life.
That's a great point, and since I'll have the tie break, I think I'll go with you on the Marlboro Reds, just because I do think that there is an element of, like, they're actively like, I don't give a fuck if this shortens my life, and you're watching them smoke it, and they're just a cool cigarette, so that automatically makes it a little bit tougher. So Marlboro Reds are going to move on. After that, we have number 8 seed versus the 9 seed. 8 seed is the only thing on this entire list that I think I do. Drink coffee black. A lot of people apparently think that's very tough. It was very heavily submitted. Drinking it, looking at it right here. And that's going up against the number 9 seed. I think this is another bit of a toss-up, but I do think for a majority it does fit. Barbed wire tattoo. It's kind of a crapshoot sometimes, but sometimes you see the barbed wire tattoo and it does look pretty tough. So drinking coffee black versus barbed wire tattoo. Rudy.
Barbed wire tattoo's a fad.
Yeah, it was.
So I don't think that that's like a sign of toughness. I think that falls in the same category as big muscles. It's sort of just an add-on, like a DLC to something you've already decided. I think those go hand in hand. I don't think it's like necessarily tough. If I see a barbed wire tattoo, I'm not like, ooh, that guy. If I see a face tattoo, then I'm like, okay, this guy's kind of fucking crazy, or he's a SoundCloud rapper. And
speaking of tough, doing Lucy Breakers.
Yeah,
are awesome and cool.
So true. So
You're not doing one.
I just literally just put one in, you fucking bitch. Do we have a problem here?
Start the timer. Start the timer.
yeah, someone
He's
get
gonna
Tommy
start
a bib.
gagging.
Yeah, someone get him a bib. What was the other one? Barbed wire and what?
Drinking coffee
Drinking
black.
coffee.
Oh, yeah, black coffee. I feel like it's just you're a serious guy or girl that just is like, I don't care about pleasure. All I care about is accelerating my heart rate and trying to get a panic attack. Like that's what I want.
So 1 for the black coffee, KB.
I don't think that's indicative of toughness at all.
The coffee or
You
the
can't-
tattoo?
You can't handle cream.
Well, here's what I'll say
I
about
actually can't.
Lactose intolerant.
Here's what I'll say about the coffee. I don't think it's not everybody who drinks black coffee is tough because I drink black coffee. I'm not tough, but everybody who's tough drinks black coffee. You're not catching a tough guy like drinking a caramel frappuccino.
Yeah. It's a great point, KB.
The both are bad in my opinion. A barbed wire tattoo. I'm picturing like a fat concrete truck driver. But if you get that, you have to have something. You got to have something. You got to be prepared for a fight. I'm gonna go barbed wire.
1 for the barbed wire tattoo, Chay.
Pam Anderson has a barbed wire tattoo.
Barbed wire was the movie.
Barbed wire, yeah.
Yeah. And she's tough as nails. There's a very famous sex tape of her, and she's just living her life, knowing that everyone's
She's living her life.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen her.
I thought you were gonna go
rail.
That's
What
tough.
is she doing the second? Was she like aggressive and violent?
No, I mean it's just a very.
Did she get fucked tough?
Yeah.
Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee did have a hammer, or does have a hammer.
So yeah, Pam Anderson. Good for her.
I think that might have been my introduction to blonde women with huge tits was Pam Anderson when she was in the TV show Stacked. I don't know if anyone remembers that. It ran for
Was that on Fox?
yeah, it was like one season an awful network sitcom. I remember being like 9 and seeing the commercial with my mom and just be like, what's going on here? I like this. Like, let's rewind. What's going on with her? She looks a little bit different. I like her.
Described as the opposite of Cheers. Instead of a smart person in a dumb place, it's a dumb person in a smart place. Does this sound right, Klemmer?
Yeah, I think Christopher Lloyd was in Stacked.
You're correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that show on Fox with the really stacked mom who was blonde and it was like kind of a weird household, and the dad was like long red hair. It was on Fox. I feel like it was on.
Family Guy.
No,
I don't know.
no, the mom. The mom was blonde.
Thomas Bond
Dad
and
had
dad red hair. I don't know.
Fuck, you had like an Uncle Eddie.
I don't know.
Like maybe that was fuck.
I don't know.
You have to.
All right,
yeah,
I got
you're,
this
if
one.
if Klemmer doesn't know it, then you're really struggling. Going to be struggling. So another one for barbed wire, Chay, right?
Yes.
Klemmer.
Yeah, I think the barbed wire is like that's definitely trying too hard. I feel like, but drinking black coffee, like you guys are saying, a lot of people who aren't tough drink black coffee. I don't love either of these. I'm gonna go with black coffee, but I don't see any way that these go very far.
2-2 right now, Doogs.
Yeah, I don't like the barbed wire at all. I wanted to say that wasn't tough, but it's black coffee for me. I think that's like I'm very insecure. If someone's buying me a coffee, I'll always be like, I'll take it black, and I fucking hate black coffee. Like I hate it. Like Big Cat will be like, I'm getting Starbucks. Like, go pick it up. What do you want? I'm like, I'll get the same as you, black.
I'm going to edit
Fucking
him saying that.
Hate it.
Yeah.
I fucking hate black, and then right there.
Yeah, I cannot stand black coffee, but yeah, I think that's tougher.
Right now we are 3-2 in favor of black coffee. Tommy.
Yeah, I'll go black coffee. My immediate gut reaction to the barbed wire tattoo was that it's lame.
Same.
And like I said, I think there are, like myself included, a lot of tough, non-tough people who drink black coffee. But like I said, squares and rectangles. All tough people do drink black coffee.
Yeah. Okay, so black coffee is going to move on. Now we can do our Chay in game first. First option.
Wait, hold on. Just closing the loop. Show is Grounded for Life.
Grounded for Life? Oh, yeah, with Donald
okay.
Luke and
Yeah.
a couple other guys. Yeah, that's good. I used to watch the
Who
show all
was
the
the
time.
woman in that?
Megan Price.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So-
Yeah. Nothing wrong with Megan Price.
If I remember correctly,
I forgot about Megan Price.
they made that show as like a stopgap because some show ended and it just was so popular they just kept it. Or something like that. It was some weird history of that show.
Did that get moved over to the WB? Am I remembering that
I
right?
think you're right.
Was that
Yeah.
always on WB? Maybe it wasn't on Fox.
I think it was on.
It was
I'm not
always
sure.
on Fox, I thought.
It was. I thought it was on WB.
All right, so Chay and options. The very first one is from Chay, and I think it's amazing actually. Having a really bad haircut. So like, I'm thinking like, I don't give a fuck haircut.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It's an amazing option. I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
After that, being Samoan. Just true.
Holy shit, that's good.
Just dead on.
Yeah.
Having a Mike Tyson voice, like this man clearly took steroids voice.
I think in a lisp.
Yeah. Wearing a "warning does not play well with others" shirt from Tommy.
I think like a classic jacked guy wearing that.
Having an apocalypse bunker, which I think is the opposite of tough. I think that's you're scared. You're a scared guy.
I think like most guys with apocalypse bunker are like Nick Offerman in The Last of Us.
Nick Offerman?
Offerman, whatever. In The Last of Us.
Not going to the doctor, also from Tommy.
Classic tough guy move.
Having a farmer's tan, I agree with that one. Eating steak rare. This was the last one on there, but a lot of people do that. I think it's another square rectangle thing. So I'll run through them again. Having a really bad haircut, being Samoan, Mike Tyson voice, does not play well with others t-shirt, having an apocalypse bunker, not going to the doctor, farmer's tan, and eating rare steak. Tommy, which one do you want to go up against our 1 seed?
That's tough. I'm between the Samoans and the doctor. I mean, I literally just went to a dermatologist yesterday. I'm always going to the doctor.
You go to the doctor more than anybody I know. That's
sorry,
like
I like to get checked on. I'm gonna go with not going to the doctor. I think that just being like, I'll beat it. Whatever I got, even if it kills me, like I'll find a way to fucking dig deep and I'll just beat whatever I have. I'm gonna go, that's like quintessential toughness. It's stupid.
Why do you go to the doctor so much?
Oh, okay, so I had to get my yearly dermatologist, annual, make sure I don't have skin cancer. I had to get my yearly physical for blood work. I'm going to go to the ENT soon, get my ears cleaned out. Sometimes I go to the GI for my acid reflux. Got to go to the dentist once or twice a year. That's not that often.
I feel like every week, you're like, I got a doc's appointment. I can't.
You do go a lot.
You go a lot.
It might just seem like that.
You're also like sick all the time.
That's also true.
Only in the winter.
It's not a winter guy.
November through March, forget it. But we're like right now when
half the year.
When everybody's dying with seasonal allergies, there's like, oh, the pollen, not me. I'm unaffected by pollen. Now dust mites own me. Dust mites absolutely
That's the least tough
own
thing
me.
I've ever heard.
But pollen, I beat pollen every year. Dust mites come back strong against me in November.
So one for not going to the doctor. Doogs?
I can't get it out of my head. It's got to be being a Samoan is about
really tough.
as fucking tough. And I don't even know if it's a Samoan thing, but those like New Zealand chants, while like
the haka chants,
is one of the most intimidating things in the world. So I just put those kind of together.
No, it's not.
I would, but I'm a pussy.
Not intimidating.
I'm a pussy. Like I'm not tough. So if somebody did that to me, I would be like, "Fuck!" But it just couldn't get it out of my head.
I mean, they're breaking out into song and dance.
But they're also
that's very reductive.
The fact that
it's scary.
The fact that you're like a 6'2" man who could be comfortable enough to do that and then like try to like fight someone on the rugby field scares the shit out of me.
The rugby one is so much harder than the basketball team.
The basketball one hurt it. I agree with that.
But the rugby team, they're beasts.
Yeah, that's scary. But the basketball one is where it really...
That was just embarrassing because of what happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
if they won that game, though, like I think we would be like, that was hard.
Yeah, agreed.
But they dominate in rugby and they do it, which I think makes it significantly more scary.
I wanted to do Farmer's Tan. I thought that was a good one. But at the end of the day, I just thought of like just like a fat guy at the pool.
Yeah,
like, and I
puka
was
shell necklace.
Yeah, and I couldn't do it.
But they have full body tans, those guys, I think, for the most part.
Yeah.
They don't have the farmer's tan.
Bald,
golfers hurt the farmer's tan.
That's fair. That's a very fair point. So we're going to have one for being Samoan. Klemmer?
Try to put yourself in a time machine. Think about everything Tommy said 5 minutes ago about his weekly checkups and all this shit. Can you imagine a tough guy saying that? So the answer for me is not going to the doctor.
Why do you have to go in a time machine for that?
Yeah, why it was...
It's not a very good time machine, but a time machine that will bring you back. Think about how valuable that would be. You go back 5 minutes? That's pretty good.
Stretch your mind and recall something Tommy said 10 seconds. I ask you, all of you.
Yes. If you can do it, it's possible.
Reach far back.
Yes. Press that 30-second button, 6 times?
Chay?
8 times? 10 times?
It's never enough, or it's too much. I'm so bad at that.
I know Chay is thinking of one thing in his mind right now, and it's Vita Vea, and I'm very curious to see where he votes.
No, it's not. No, I respect the Samoan thing, and I do think Samoan people are tough, but bad haircut. Because if someone has like a objectively very bad haircut, that person has nothing to lose. That person doesn't care about their appearance. They don't give a fuck about anything except being tough, and That's what.
Brandon Walker had a bad haircut before he started working here. I don't think.
Yeah, they're not
think
always
it's-
tough. Sometimes they're just
No.
stupid.
He just had a buzz cut.
No, it just looked terrible.
No, I think, Chay, you're dead on with the bad haircut. I think that's a very astute observation. So 1 for the haircut, KB?
I think if it's a tough guy with a bad haircut, that's a problem. With a horrendous haircut. Any apathy toward life and how others see you is an advantage because you're at least willing to fight. You don't fear the shame, and that's a big step because a lot of people aren't willing to. But it's statistically it's Samoans. I think most of them are battle tested. Any Pacific Islander, I'm not fighting.
Another one for the Samoans. They have 2. Not going to the doctor has 2. You could tiebreaker go wild right here, Rudy.
I was leaning towards not going to the doctor, but I think a lot of that was that you're like being a martyr. You're like, I don't need to go to the doctor. It's almost just stupidity. And back in the day, there just weren't doctors. So that was like a lot of it, I feel like. And now that I'm thinking about the Samoans more, they still get tatted up for like tribal reasons. They get tats for like, that represent their culture, that like mean something, battle tested, legacies. That's fucking tough, dude. Like when you got like scripture and hieroglyphics on you that like are like that tell you what's about to happen. Like you're about to get hit with like the tsunami of swords or some bullshit. Like, yeah, fucking Samoans, dude. Sign me up.
Samoans are going to get out of the chain game, and they're going to have to play our number 1 seed again. I think the most submitted option we've ever had in the history of any of these in the bracket when I posted on Twitter and Instagram and all that. Cauliflower ear. Cauliflower ear is the most
Just KB and all of his burners.
Dude, it was by far, like, people had to have seen people already submit cauliflower ear, and they still posted cauliflower ear. It was incredible.
This is the winner. Come on.
So it's good. Of course. So cauliflower ear versus Samoans. Rudy.
Oh.
Wow. Samoans is kind of a sneaky.
There's got to be a Samoan me though, like a version of me.
No,
there isn't.
I guarantee you there isn't.
There's no Samoan
No,
me.
there's maybe a Malaysian you.
Like a squeaky voice going, I like baseball. It must be.
No, God, no.
That's fantastical.
Yeah, you're describing.
I'd find a unicorn before I found that version.
Yes.
So let's say I'm right. Let's just say there's no way there's a me with cauliflower ear. So that's why I think cauliflower ear has to be the answer.
You're like 30 pounds away from Sugar Sean O'Malley.
That's true.
I don't know who that is.
Dude, look at, I Googled.
Featherweights.
Yeah.
I Googled skinny Samoan. The skinniest Samoans they could show me were
he's
fucking
the
massive.
hottest guy I've ever fucking
The
seen.
skinny
they
Samoan's
would-
like 13 years old too.
Yeah, the skinniest
They
one
would-
they found.
Not the one that says the hottest guy.
They would hurl you off. The cliff.
No, I wouldn't entertain them. Maybe
No, they would hurl.
they wouldn't
you
find
off.
like.
No.
Oh, I know about '90s TV.
The only thing they could maybe use you for is a surfboard.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Maybe
They'd
I would
use
do
you
that.
as like a spike to drive into coconuts to open them.
No. I'm
Or
sure.
they would be like, he's a foreign exchange student. He's Filipino.
That you would have no purpose in a Samoan society.
Really?
I don't think so.
I always
There's-
wonder, like, what if I was born in like the 1700s? Like, what would I like? Tommy, you probably think the same. Like, what would we do?
Die.
We'd be so
Die young.
worthless.
Die probably as we were getting delivered from the womb.
Yes.
Would we be lawyers? They had lawyers back then. I think we could have like finagled our way to be a
I
lawyer.
think you'd be fine.
He would be fucked.
I think he would be fucked unless he was like a Duke's son. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
he's a
Oh, you'd be a
perfect
great
royal.
Duke.
I would have been a great king's son.
Yes.
Like a real
Yes.
little shit of a son.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
little white flauntery.
Like,
Oh,
the dad is like trying to protect the realm, and you're killing animals.
Well, Rudy,
and-
we've talked about like I could have been a decent chimney sweep, but I would have died at about 14.
You're underestimating what chimney sweeps endure.
You would have black lung within a day.
dust might
Well,
be
yeah, I would be.
opera
I wouldn't be a
season.
long-lived tenured, but I'd immediately be a chimney sweep.
You wouldn't have
Papa,
chimney
I'm just
sweep,
here to
you have to go
pull
to the doctor.
Papa. What?
It's the most carcinogenic job in the
Well,
world.
I wouldn't last
one
long.
chimney.
The dust
You
mites
wouldn't
would
last
get me.
one
They
chimney.
didn't last long.
Yeah.
You saying he wouldn't? You saying he would be good at it, but it would be a short-lived career.
Yeah.
Is
I
this-
don't know. I think he would.
I'm not saying I'd be
medically.
good at it. I'm
You'd be
saying
like-
they would take one look at me and they'd be like, "That's a chimney."
You'd be
sweep."
like Aaron Rodgers on the Jets at chimney sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, wow, when he ran out to sweep that chimney,
What an
holy shit!
that would be your
Winning out with like a lung cancer ribbon. Essentially.
Why do that? Why do that, dude? Why?
I didn't even put that together. I didn't put
You
that
would be. I feel like you'd be great.
I'd be okay back then. You think?
You'd be a fantastic peasant.
Yes,
Oh,
that's true.
I wouldn't do very well. I'd be poor. You think?
I just think, I don't know.
Oh.
Dude,
Yeah,
you throw one of
but
those
I'd
like
be
caps
great
with
at
like
it.
the strings on Klemmer. He'd be an ideal peasant.
I can so easily see you in a crowd of people being like, "Yes, my lord."
No, really? I think I'd yell at the Lord and then I'd get executed probably.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
you fucked the town crier.
Yeah.
You got executed an affair with the town crier.
In that day, like being fat was a sign of wealth.
I know. That's true.
You'd be the poorest
No.
motherfucker alive. So Rudy, Samoans or cauliflower ear?
I'm gonna go with cauliflower ear, simply because it shows to me that you like to fight as a hobby. You do it in your free time, and you're willing to forgo your looks. You don't give a shit that your ears look like you got exposed to nuclear waste. You know, it means to me that you are waiting and itching for a fight, and even if you don't want to fight, if one arises, you will have to step in because of your skill set. So to me, it's just a no-brainer with cauliflower ear.
So,
Samoans, I think, can be peaceful, but people with cauliflower ear enjoy fighting to the point where they spend their free time doing it recreationally.
Question: if you have cauliflower ear, that means you're a wrestler, correct? Or like, does that just mean you fight?
Oh, boxing.
Martial
Combat
arts,
sport.
boxing. Yeah.
How does it form?
From impact abruptly,
Got
your ear fills up with blood and then it hardens.
So that's one for cauliflower ear. KB, do I have to guess where you're going to vote?
Come on. Fighting is a technical skill and an art. People think it's just tough, just who's tougher as a man. It's a learned skill, like an instrument. So like people they at the very least have the technical skills of some form of combat. So that's the reason.
So if you have more cauliflower ear, does that mean you're not as learned because you got hit in the ear so many times you didn't protect yourself?
It could be a sign of you got slammed and like you lost.
So the more cauliflower ear you have, the less, or maybe the more tough you are because the more you got beat on.
But
True.
most people just, if you wrestle or do MMA enough, it's inevitable.
So 2 for cauliflower ear.
That tells me you just had like a long career too. Like, or you fought a lot. So like it doesn't necessarily
But that means you're tough.
That's
That
true
scares
too.
me more. Yeah.
Che?
What is the exact wording of the title of this? Is the toughest or looks the toughest?
I think we went with what is the sign that someone is tough? The sign that someone is tough.
Fine.
A sign that someone is tough.
I also
Yeah, so
don't think that's really an important clarification.
I do, because if it is like, if someone looks tough, like generally most people that are wrestlers generally are of, like, what's the wrestling weight class? Like there's a 109-pound weight class, right?
Right. There's a lot of tiny.
There's a lot of tiny
So it's
guys.
not a.
So
Yeah, but like you said, though, they still have a skill, though. They still have a crap.
sure,
Fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
of course, but would I be rather staring at, a 130-pound person with cauliflower ear that was looking to fight me, or like a giant Samoan person?
That's a fair
that is
point.
a-
Yeah,
that
that's
is a
exactly
fair.
what I
Yeah,
thought.
that is.
I would like to see the stats on Samoans because I know a lot of them are also just like obese because of their diets. But
But it's a
Sure,
tough obese.
So
Yeah.
my vote is for cauliflower ear, but the distinction was if it most intimidating, like person I'd least want to fuck with and fight, it would probably be the Samoan person if that was the title of this. But that's the clarification. Is the toughest? Then yeah, it is probably the cauliflower ear.
It is part of the cauliflower ear. I'll
if
have
it's
to-
me, you don't have to worry about it. But if there's a tiny guy with cauliflower who's trying to fight you, that's a problem.
Yeah, but you say not to worry, but you slam him into
Yeah,
the ground.
yeah,
like you,
I don't
like.
think
So
that
yeah,
example
very
plays.
Yeah, but
Sorry.
KB's not a tiny guy. He's like perfectly average.
But I'm not gonna fight you.
You vaporized
arguably.
the shoulder.
Yes,
That's
I know.
what I'm
We
saying.
know you're not. You're a good guy. You're not going to fight us.
You
But
had
like,
we had the technique to at least do something. We could still get knocked out if from the right punch, but
Right.
yeah, but that's not someone a regular person ever wants to tangle with. That'd be terrifying.
Well, I guess like this is almost
Yeah.
like this is like the Bradley Martin thing where he's like he thought he beat up that 135-pound was it Haney, right, the boxer, where he's like, yeah, I think I'd trash him, and like I think if I saw them both on their face and I just saw Haney and I just saw like Bradley Martin, I'd be like, I don't want to fight Bradley Martin, I'd rather fight him, but Haney would probably be the one that just kill you, like absolutely destroy you.
I'm thinking I'm maybe underestimating Samoans.
I mean, like if you just put two people into a ring and it was like, whoever is a very good collegiate wrestler, who's the guy, Spence or something? or Penn
Spencer
State.
Lee, yeah.
Spencer Lee. If you put that guy in the ring versus Roman Reigns, and you're like, you guys have to have a fist fight. Loser, winner leaves the ring. I would probably take.
Well, yeah. Well, we're talking about the all Samoans, not just one.
Well, yeah, we're also not talking. This is the best wrestler.
But
anyone with cauliflower.
He's the lightest weight class. You can like pinpoint one of the heavyweights with cauliflower ear.
Who's like the guy that just won? He won the Olympics for us.
Brock Lesnar.
Definitely not the guy I was thinking of.
Gable Stevenson.
Gable Stevenson, yeah, like him versus like the biggest like Vita Vea or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean he's a professional fighter versus like a defensive tackle. So yeah, I don't think that's a super fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're taking
Certainly there are very tough people with cauliflower, and that is my vote. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know, like if I was gonna get my ass kicked, like I'm staring at a 130-pound guy or a Samoan ripped guy, like I'm probably more intimidated by the Samoan ripped guy.
Probably more intimidated by the Samoan.
Correct.
Okay.
My vote is for cauliflower.
Okay.
But this was the wording clarification.
Okay.
Is tougher versus looks tougher.
Klemmer.
Cauliflower ear.
Cauliflower without a doubt. It's a clean sweep so far. Doogs.
I'm going Samoan. I agree with Chay. Like for the cauliflower ear, I thought that was going to be my initial answer, but if you just if a Samoan stood in front of me and a wrestler stood in front of me, I would rather face the wrestler. So at least I know the Samoan I think is going to kill me, while the wrestler is just going to beat my fucking ass. That's where I think the Samoan's out to kill, not to fight.
Tommy?
I'm with Dukes. I'm going Samoans as well. There's also just something about the name cauliflower ear. I know
That's
it's
fair.
just not intimidating. It's a vegetable.
Also, Samoans they go out and fish with fucking rocks and spears.
Yeah,
They can fend for themselves, and they're fat.
Every Samoan does this, by the way.
Yeah.
We're forgetting
Every Samoan.
every single.
also
Never met a Samoan that does any of these things.
I did think it was hilarious that Chay could only picture a wrestler that was 130 pounds.
Yeah.
Not even the 175 weight class.
That is the majority.
When we were talking about cauliflower, it's like, all right, it's like I know KB is cauliflower ear, and KB, it's like, oh, he's a nice guy. Like,
Right.
there's the Samoans send a shiver down my spine.
Which is weird because
this should be the final matchup.
cauliflower versus Samoans.
Also, they give themselves tattoos with their own homemade ink.
All of them, yeah.
The tap ones too. And
Well, if you rewind your brain, you stretch far wide back. I did say that a long time ago.
you did,
Yes.
So cauliflower ear is going to move on. Before we get to the second half of the bracket, let's talk about Babel. Be a better you in 2024 with Babel, the science-backed language learning app that actually works. Don't pay hundreds of dollars for private tutors or waste hours on apps that don't really help you speak the language. Babel's quick 10-minute lessons are handcrafted by over 200 language experts that help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. It's designed by real people for real conversations. Their tips and tools are approachable, accessible, rooted in real-life situations, and delivered with a conversation-based teaching so that you're ready to practice what you've learned in the real world. I use them to help. I think I've mentioned this in one of the last times you did one of their ads. I've been using them to help brush up on some Spanish. Very helpful. And again, not going to mention any competitor apps, but definitely better than those. Babel has over 16 million subscriptions sold. Plus, all of Babel's 14 award-winning language courses are backed by their 20-day money-back guarantee. Here's a special limited-time deal for our listeners. Right now, you can get 55% off your Babel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/lights. Get 55% off at babbel.com/lights, spelled BABBEL.com/lights. Rules and restrictions may apply. All right, other half. Number 6 seed versus the 11 seed. The 6 seed, very simple one. Not crying after getting hurt. I think we could say not complaining after getting hurt might be better.
Crying.
I think not complaining might be better. But I do just the idea of just getting obviously hurt but not really reacting, I think is very tough. And that's going up against the number 11 seed. I kind of want to there's so many different things that included this that I want to sort of just encompass into one thing. I'm just going to say hands. But hands is going to include a lot of things. It's going to include one person having sausage fingers but not being fat. I think that's tough. I think you see someone with big ass fingers and they're not a fat person. That's a tough guy.
Prince Charles?
Prince Charles? No, I'm not. I don't know if that reference is clicking for me.
He does have humongous hands. But
He's known for having sausage fingers.
He might have a disorder or something.
crazy hands, but he's not
He's not tough at all.
No.
He's but I wouldn't say that he's skinny. He's kind of fat.
Yeah.
But he used to be skinny and always had the hands.
Isn't he the
His
king
hands
now?
He is.
Yeah,
King Charles
King
now.
Charles. Yes.
His hands are fucking crazy.
Adding on to that, having rough hands. So calloused hands, workman's hands.
That's
No,
different.
that's tough.
This is all
That's
including
a
on the same
man.
thing. Yeah. Having a strong handshake is also included underneath there. Having dirty hands, having knuckle tattoos, I think adding onto this. Having hairy knuckles. 15 different variations of things that are all including hands. But I do think, the more I thought to think about it, the hands are very much could be.
I think callousy hands would be my favorite of
out
those.
of all those. Rough hands. Everyone, they did have the best reaction.
Rough.
So we could say rough hands.
Yep.
So rough hands going up against let's say not reacting after being hurt. Start with you, Tommy Smokes.
I'll go with the rough hands. Yeah, I mean, not reacting, it's tough. Obviously, not shedding a tear, not yelling, ow! But when you
Tom and Jerry or something.
When you see a scar or just rough, callousy hands, like this guy works with his hands. He does some sort of manual labor. Maybe it's from lifting weights, or there's just a lot of different tough things that can come from rough hands.
Mm-hmm. One for rough hands, Doogs.
Yeah, so like again, a couple weeks ago, I cried after Dayton won one basketball game. But going back to last year, I broke my ankle like in every single spot, and I did not flinch, did not cry. And as I was getting wheeled off the field, some 10-year-old goes, "Holy shit, he's not crying! That is so cool."
Oh, that must be awesome.
I have thought about that so much in the past year. And like personally, I just have to say that was probably like the toughest thing I've ever done. So I have to say that.
One for the no reaction, Klemmer.
Yeah. If I shake a guy's hand, he's got like a rough hand, like I said, a true like blue collar guy that's out there, like doing real work. Chances are the guy's been in a scrap or two, and chances are that's the last guy I want to fuck with. Like those guys, those guys mean business, and that's scary to me because it's a silent way. They're not even. That's just their work. There's no tattoo. They're not trying to do too much. It's like that's just them. And that a guy with real paws, that's scary. I'm gonna say that.
With real paws, Jay.
My uncle Joe is a mechanic, and he just has giant hands. So whenever I see him for the holidays, wherever he gives me a handshake, it just like envelops my entire hand. So I have to say that because I don't know that he's like a tough person specifically, but I would never want to take a punch from him just because his hand is a fucking like Mjolnir.
Mm-hmm. Joey chase a pussy. All right, it's all gathered up. KB.
Hands. Isolate the hands. That's how you should size up a man. Size, coarseness, texture. Tough hands are often dusty. They're hard. They're not even calloused anymore. They feel like almost marbles. When you size up a man, don't look at his face, his muscles, look at his hands. Nothing is more intimidating than a boy with big hands. That was the worst type of wrestler to face. He's gonna grip you up and you're fucked.
Really?
Oh yeah. We're living. It should be hands. That's the way we should live as men. Hands.
Rudy?
Yeah, I totally agree. I was thinking more about it, and the not reacting to being hurt is literally the definition of tough. So
that is true.
So it's kind of tricky because it like falls directly into the category of this bracket. But the fact remains that in my head, and I think just like vibe wise, it's hands. Like, you know what I mean? Like this isn't exactly, we don't really play by the rules here and be literal, even though that is exactly what being tough is. But it's hands. KB's right. You said it perfectly.
Shaking a dude's hand, and like Chay was saying it, like Andre the Giant's you, and like you just get enveloped by it and get vice gripped. Like that is just like, oh fuck, this guy's
massive.
So like Tony Soprano hands. Gold fingers, hairy. Looks like he's
hairy,
about to have a heart attack, and it's gonna originate in his hands somehow.
Yeah.
Like one of those. Do you guys ever have those kids growing up that had to take steroids and their feet and their hands grew?
No.
You guys didn't have those. Like, there was kids that like They didn't like. I'd say there's like 3 kids. There was like 3 kids in my friend group.
What the fuck?
That they had to take HGH from a doctor because they weren't like hitting puberty fast enough. So when they're like 16.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Testosterone, yeah.
Yeah, testosterone. But their hands would get fucking huge. And when I remember being like 18, one kid like shaking my hand, and my hand felt so small, and I've never felt as emasculated in that moment.
I've been told by multiple girls that I have the softest hands they've ever felt.
Your hands are crazy.
Oh my god, that's brutal.
If I could enlarge your hands and form them into a pillow shape, I would sleep.
Yeah. They're
Like
so.
just
Anyone
like
want
this.
they're a little clammy, but my god, they're soft.
Oh, they're really soft.
You gotta feel these hands, dudes.
Honestly, it might be hands now, like, because the coarseness is just not there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Not a single course on this hand.
So rough hands is going to move
So
on.
soft.
Next, we have the 3 seed versus the 14 seed. The 3 seed is the Teardrop tattoo. Means it killed someone, so it's an automatic toughness thing. I don't think I've ever heard of someone faking a teardrop tattoo. Is that something you even...
Oh, for sure, I bet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's a thing you can do.
I just assume that's always fake.
You assume it's always fake? I feel like I've only ever seen it on people like in prison.
Yeah, when I'm at
basically.
like the supermarket, I've seen it in real life. There's not a chance. Why would you tell on yourself like that?
I guess so. And that's going up against number 14 seed. Some people that chew on toothpicks. So guys with the toothpick in their mouth just saying, that type of thing. So start with you, Rudy.
The only person I could think of that chews on toothpicks is my good friend Nick. You guys may know him. He isn't. I wouldn't describe him as tough.
He chooses flavored toothpicks, though. That's not tough.
That's so much.
Well,
That's
they
the
make him in. If they make it in a flavored variety, then that sinks this whole ship. Which they do. You know what I mean? So, I think for me, it's definitely Teardrop. Like I find that wildly intimidating, faked or not. You're not gonna be like catch me being like, yo, I bet that's fake.
Yeah, it's almost even tougher to fake.
Yeah,
You're like,
that's a wild bluff to call.
Prove it.
yeah, I'm not calling that bluff.
Prove it.
It's so true.
I think it's fake, Buster.
Yeah.
Put your
KB.
finger right in his chest.
Yeah, that's a good point. Even if it's faked, I'm not the one to disprove it.
And even if it's fake, they got a tattoo on their face, which is inherently a little bit tough.
Is it tough or is it crazy?
Both. Either way, crazy can be very tough.
That's a slim margin.
Yeah,
difference.
but there's...
I'm afraid of crazy people. Are you not afraid of crazy people?
I'm afraid of them, but but not
there's,
because
like,
they're tough, because they're crazy.
I feel like 50%, like most of them are like, you're just a drug addict
Yeah,
That's fair.
who has no strength or power.
Chay?
It was Teardrop tattoo in which one?
Teardrop tattoo versus the guy that plays with a toothpick in their mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I chew on a toothpick. Not a tough thing at all. It's just a sign of dental hygiene. So I'm going to go with the teardrop tattoo.
Teardrop tattoo. Klemmer?
Yeah, when I think like toothpick guy, I'm thinking like an extra in like a 1940s like western, like but like not
Pretty
a tough,
tough.
guy. Just like,
Yeah, that's
no,
tough.
like just kind of some guy that's like a ranch hand, but like not
That's tough.
the best, but like a shitty ranch hand. I don't think
The
you know, even,
shittiest
like,
ranch hand is tougher than anybody in this call right now.
Honestly, when I think
what?
of toothpick, I think of Nellie's
argument
character in The Longest Yard.
Also
That's
tough.
the ultimate toothpick chewer.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean teardrop tattoo. I mean I might have killed someone. That's very scary to me. I'm much more intimidated by that.
So teardrop tattoo. Doogs?
Yeah, the toothpick is someone that used to smoke Marlboro Reds, and they don't anymore. So they need that fixation.
Which is pretty tough.
The teardrop tattoo, great point. Like
Quitting smoking
I
is
don't,
not tough.
I don't care if you killed someone or you didn't kill someone. Like that person doesn't give a fuck if you think that they did or didn't. Like it doesn't matter if it's faked or not.
They kind of want you to know they did.
Right, but even if they didn't, like they want you to think that they did or they think that you could.
Right.
So that just scares the shit out of me. Teardrop tattoo.
Teardrop tattoo. Tommy?
Yeah, I'm having a tough distinction here between tough and crazy. I think people with the
fair.
teardrop tattoo are legitimately crazy. I don't know if they're tough. I think just chewing on wood in your mouth, being like, I need to get some wood in my mouth and chomp down on this is tougher. So I'm going to go with the toothpick.
You're going to go with the toothpick?
Not that it matters.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The teardrop's going to win. I do. Yeah, that's actually a good point. The fine line between crazy and tough.
Yeah.
And intimidating, too, which also doesn't necessarily mean tough.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it does, I think, look tough if you see a guy in, like, he has a teardrop tattoo.
I think it looks crazy.
I guess maybe both. I don't think they're maybe
I mean, he
mutually
looks
exclusive.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it looks scary. I don't know if
Scary
scary
is
is
not
always
crazy
tough.
necessarily.
That's fair. It could be maybe another square rectangle thing. I'm not sure. So now we have the number 7 seed versus the 10 seed. 7 seed is having a glass eye or eye patch. Very tough looking things. And this is versus the number 10
Freak.
Number 10 seed. This is a situation one. Gets hit in the mouth, spits out a tooth and blood, and says, "Is that all you got?"
Oh my god.
So is that all you got versus having a glass eye / eye patch, Tommy?
Yeah, is that all you got by a country mile? Glass eye, sometimes you're a freak. An eye patch, yeah, like most eye patches, like a little kid that just had surgery on his eye or something. Like I don't think that that's tough. I think taking a punch and then just be like cracking your neck a little bit spitting out, is that all you got? Like, you want to go again? It's a little bit similar to the do we have a it's the accelerated version of do we have a problem here, guy.
Is that tougher or less tough than like when the guy's like, I'll give you the first one free right here? Or
It's
something like that?
similar, yeah. Like first punch on me.
First punch on.
Yeah, I think just like taking a punch and then is that all you got? Like I would shit my. Not that I would have ever thrown the punch, but yeah, that would make me shit my pants.
Doogs?
The eye patch can't be it. Because the toughest thing is like if you got your eye cut out, that you just don't have the eye patch and you like everybody see
that's true.
what's really there.
Yeah.
So that would scare me more. If somebody spit out blood and said, "Is that all you got?" I'd be like, "Yes, sir. That's legitimately all I have to give."
So what? A 2 for getting hit in the mouth. Klemmer?
Yeah, Sammy Davis Jr. had a glass eye. Sammy Davis Jr. was not tough at all. It's such a ridiculous premise that glass eye equals toughness. Very cool, very talented, not tough. If I punch someone, they probably would say, "Is that all you got?" But like, and that was the response. That would be just sheer terror. Like even thinking about it sends like makes my spine tingle. Like it's gotta be that.
A guy like being like legitimately disappointed that that's all you've got specifically is very kind of funny.
Like, oh my God.
Jay?
My middle school librarian, Miss Abraham, had a glass eye. Not tough. Anything but that. So yeah, that's.
How do you know she wasn't tough? Did you like fight her and beat her up or something?
No, she was fucking librarian. She was the worst. Yeah, not tough. She was yelled at like 12-year-olds.
Poor woman. KB?
I don't know. If I like punched someone in the face so hard that his tooth fell out and immediate reaction wasn't to fight back, I'd be like, all right, that's word. Like momentum is on my side. He's bleeding. He's hurt, and he's not even fighting back yet. He's just talking. With that said, yeah, the glass eye, that's just like the final boss or final bitch of like the four-eyed freak. Like you just, yeah, I'll go the tooth, even though I don't trust that too much.
That's fair.
A tough move.
That is true, because that isn't like a great insult to bring back after you had a tooth knocked out.
Absolutely. Actually, I would be like, that's all I got, and I won the fight, clearly.
And he's like, clearly you did. You beat the shit out of me.
I've done severe damage.
Yeah.
Severe gushing blood out of
You're going to have to go to a dentist to get it.
I already won this.
You're going to have to get that crowned.
So you're going to stick with the hit in the mouth, or you want to switch?
Yeah, no, fuck that. No. It's fuck the glass side. Still going with that.
Rudy?
So,
yeah, I mean, the notion that it didn't hurt you is the definition of tough. So even though I do agree with KB on the fact that like it's almost like an oxymoron, I guess. But it's definitely not the. I had an eye patch because my friend in middle school poked me in the eye. There was nothing tough about that.
It's funny to imagine a guy like just got punched, like withering on the floor in pain. Is that all you got?
It's vomit,
like Monty Python,
pouring blood out of his mouth.
He's got a scratch.
Yeah, it is literally that. Yeah, it's a good comp.
It is that, yeah.
All right, so now number 2 seed, as the hit in the mouth one moves on. Number 2 seed versus the 15 seed, last matchup on this side. Number 2 seed is eating an apple with a knife, which is very tough. I love this one. Like the guy sits there with a knife, like carving off chunks of an apple. It's just that image doesn't do nothing for you guys.
I think it's cooler.
No, because I don't like getting my fingers dirty. I do.
No, it's not for you. You're not the tough guy. Seeing someone else do it.
No, but like I wonder if another guy though had the same thing. He doesn't like his fingers getting sticky and likes to eat with silverware. You know.
I don't view it like that. I don't know.
I think it's more cool than it's tough.
There's a hold on. There's a humongous difference between a sharp like Bowie knife and a fork in a knife.
Yeah, I'm thinking Rudy's end, not a fucking like butter knife.
But like a machete?
I can still use a sharp knife and I still wouldn't get my hand sticky, which would be a W.
Whatever you're saying, no.
And that's up against the number 15 seed. It had to be included. Not wearing sunscreen because you're tougher than the sun. One of the first things that always comes up here. So we're going to start out with you, Rudy. Which one? Not wearing sunscreen or taking the chunks out of the apple with a knife?
Not wearing sunscreen is just like a leftover byproduct of caveman activities. Like that's something in male brain where like despite overwhelming evidence and learned life experience that I feel like I'll be okay. I don't need to wear sunscreen. You get sunburned every time. That's caveman brain. For whatever reason, we've never learned that lesson. It's just straight up stupidity. It's not toughness. When you get a sunburn, you squeal like a little bitch. You like wince in the shower. You complain. And then you also then try to come up with excuses about how it normally doesn't happen like this, even if it happens like that every single time.
That's so true.
It is unanimously the eating an apple with a knife.
Eating an apple with a knife, KB.
So I think a lot of these are exclusively like Hollywood things. Like, I've never went to an orchard and saw it or anywhere and saw a guy
Ever been
eating
to an orchard?
apple. Never been to an orchard?
Have you been to like an orchard like frequently?
Yeah, plenty of times. I've never seen someone do that in real life. I think they would be losers if they actually tried.
So
But
you're gonna
no,
go.
you're a bitch if you sunburn. I think tough guys will not wear sunscreen but not sunburn.
Yes.
So they,
Every
they
picture-
literally are covered in the sun.
Every image I've seen of a guy burnt to a crisp like a lobster, he was a bitch.
Yes. Agreed.
He had the physique of a bitch.
So you're gonna go with the apple then?
You guys have seen this?
I've never seen this.
No.
I've never seen this, but I can picture it.
I mean, I shouldn't say I've done this with it, but for different purposes.
No,
I'm going
man, he
the
just
apple.
tanked
I
it.
am going the apple.
Jay.
I don't think either of these are super strong. I guess the sunburn thing or this lack of sunscreen. I do not wear sunscreen a couple times a year just to get a little bit darker, but I think that's just a genetic. I do burn sometimes if I stay out too long, but one day I'm
You've got that whole Asian thing going
Yeah,
on.
that does help.
yes,
A
correct.
little bit of extra melanin. Klemmer.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've done both of these things.
I mean,
don't-
not-
Stop saying it. You
Yeah.
didn't
Not
do it.
done.
One and a half
Eating
of these
apple
things.
with a knife and a fork.
No, you with the fork, it nullifies it,
The
and then
fork
like
kills it, and then
Yeah.
I know what
But
knife.
if I didn't have a fork, I would just do it with a knife. I'd rather do that than eat the apple. No, I like also.
You're
like
using
when the
like
apple's
Oneonta
nice little
silverware.
slices. You know who has a good at the cutting the apples is the Gunny Balls. He
Well,
cuts
but
apples sometimes on a stream, and he'll share some of them, and they're very good.
Oh, I think I have seen
Well,
that.
he does his chapel. Yeah,
yeah,
chicken and
chapel,
apple.
chicken and apple.
Yeah, so that's very good.
Chocolate apple?
No,
chicken and apple.
Yeah,
This is-
Gunny's big with apples. Very
loves
good.
apples.
But sunscreen, I guess I don't know. I guess I'll go sunscreen. I guess because it means you don't care about your personal well-being that much. But like you said, I've done that only because I'm just stupid. It's not being tough.
Doogs.
Yeah, you could say the sunscreen one is like you picture like a frail like bitch on the beach just getting like nailed by the sun. But
Sounds
what I picture is like a 6'4" guy that's like way too tan, burnt back, tribal tattoos, and that guy looks tough. 'cause-
Samoan.
Yeah,
Samoan, usually, yeah.
I think it just comes back to me just
Yeah,
being terrified of
spearing,
Samoans.
spearing
Sparing
fish.
you.
Yeah, I think it's just being tougher than the sun.
Being tougher than the sun, 3-2 right now.
Yeah, the apple thing just I don't think exists really in reality. So I'm gonna go with being like I don't wear sunscreen that much, but not at a toughness because I want to get a tan. Which I think wanting to get a tan is not that tough. It's borderline gay.
Is getting a sunburn a mindset?
Getting sunburn is I don't think you can mentally control it too much.
Yeah, like do you think some people like just don't feel it? Like
I mean, some people burn worse than others.
right.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a mindset
Yeah.
as much as it's
Yeah, it's a
Some
genetic.
people just
biological.
some people just seem so unaffected by it, by
Yeah.
other people. It like ruins their week.
Yeah. Okay, so the no sunscreen is going to move on. Before we get into our playoffs, let's talk about Roan apparel. Look, sometimes it sucks trying to find something good to wear, and men's closets were due for a radical reinvention, and Roan has stepped up to the challenge. Their commuter collection is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible set of products known to man, and here's why. They have products for every occasion. Roan helps you get ready for any occasion you want with the commuter collection, which offers the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos. You never have to worry about what to wear when you have the Roan commuter collection. Mobility is everything. Roan's comfortable four-way stretch fabric provides breathability and flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy whatever life throws your way, from your commute to your work to 18 holes of golf. Looking good is easy. It's time to feel confident without the hassle. They have wrinkle release technology. Wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the products. It's that easy, which is great because putting shit in the drying without wrinkles is still just it's a struggle for some reason. With Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, you'll be smelling fresh and clean all day. And on top of that, Roan is 100% machine washable, so that you can ditch the dry cleaner altogether. I love Roan. Been wearing them for years now. I feel like even before they did any ads with us. They're incredible. The commuter collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to roan.com/bracket and use promo code bracket to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to Roan, RHONE.com/bracket, and use code bracket. It's time to find your corner office comfort. All right, playoffs, first matchup, Marlboro Reds versus, do we have a problem here? Very interesting matchup to start. Tommy Smokes.
Do we have a problem here? easily. Marlboro Reds, yeah, I don't know. Cigarettes, they're not as tough as they used to be.
As they used to be.
Yeah. Do we have a problem here, guy? It's you know, like the blood guy. He didn't bleed. He's just saying like, let's not have a problem here. So I'm going with that.
Are cigarettes tougher now because of how much we know about them?
I think they're
Yes.
stupider.
No, people do
Dumber?
it for
Both things can be
aesthetics.
true.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
You go to
point.
like Brooklyn, I bet you.
Yeah.
Come on.
Dukes.
Oh, it's so tough that KB just said that before I was going to answer. Yeah, because now I'm thinking of a girl smoking like a Marlboro Red in the East Village.
Yeah.
She's like
That type
trendy.
of shit.
Leather
Yeah.
jacket,
Yeah,
fucking bitch.
Yeah, yeah, and she's
Tiny
like giving me like a
sunglasses.
stink eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, do we have a problem here?
Do we have a problem
Yeah.
here? Klemmer?
Yeah, I would be more scared by a guy saying, "Do we have a problem here?" than seeing a guy smoke a Marlboro Red. So I'm gonna go with, "Do we have a problem here?"
Do we have a problem here, Chay?
So I have a confession. I've said this a bunch of times. Yeah, my best friend in college was a smaller dude. He's like 5'7", and he liked to get rowdy and like try to get into fights when he got drunk. So I would be the guy. He would start not a skirmish, but like he would start an altercation that would be close to escalating, and then oftentimes I would come in and de-escalate them with that question.
You de-escalated by saying, "Do we have a problem here?"
I think
I think it does often de-escalate.
because then you're like, I'm going to fight this tinier guy, and then I would step in, and I'm much larger, and he obviously has people behind him, and then
So you're this guy in question. You're
Yeah.
the guy.
yeah.
I think that we were thinking about it as someone saying it redundantly, like there is a
Yeah.
problem. You were like you being earnestly asking, like, do we have a problem?
Oh no, I came in like that. I came in like
He's saying he did.
He was the badass.
He was
You
the
came in
guy.
like a badass.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the one
Got
who
it.
knocks.
Yeah.
If I'm asking, it's like, do we have a problem here? Because if so, I'll leave.
I'll get out of here right now if you want.
There's a problem. I'm heading out of
I'll
here right
excuse
now.
myself, boys.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, we do have a problem. Oh, fuck.
Oh shit! Is there a problem brewing here?
we never got into a large altercation. Some like minor skirmishes. One time I was not there, and there was like someone pulled a knife.
Oh
Jesus
God.
Christ.
It became like a thing. But no, I still I have respect for, because like that would never be like a choice where I'd be like, yeah, like I want, most of the times not like want to fight, but it'd more like, let me get my guy out of here.
Fair enough, KB.
So Chay, you punked people out with this move that's about to make the finals of this bracket?
Yes, I would say close to 10.
Oy vey.
I think if anything, it shows the power of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it could make Chay more
But
intimidating.
actually, if Chay came up to me with like a monotone whisper and said that, I
Yeah.
would be terrified.
Whisper would be.
A whisper, yeah, a whisper.
That would be horrifying.
Dude, like my skin is like tingling.
Yeah.
Just thinking, like, yeah, my skin stood up. Just
Yeah,
like the thought
I still
of that.
gotta go with this.
All right.
A
Another
whisper, do we have a problem?
Jay whispering, "Do we have a problem here?" At a bar is horrifying.
Yeah.
Rudy.
I don't remember what the other one was.
Yeah,
Marlboro
it's-
Reds.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean the current iteration of like modern cigarettes is completely ruined this because now it's just an aesthetic thing.
Yeah.
We have a problem here is definitely it.
So now I think an almost an easier matchup, even though that was a clean sweep. The cauliflower ear versus drinking black coffee.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean it's
Oh, this is
it's cauliflower.
This isn't even
without
worth even
question.
discussing.
Yeah, cauliflower ear.
So cauliflower ear.
I wish that drinking black coffee was more tough because I drink a lot of black coffee, but I just know it isn't.
I think black
Especially
coffee is more
compared
of an
to
insecure
cauliflower.
thing.
I don't see. Like I just
No.
Or it's
don't
just
like.
a preference thing, Doogs. Like people like different things.
No, I'm saying
Yeah.
I think I'm just talking for me personally.
I actually prefer the taste
you're
of black
saying that you
coffee to
have a
like a sweet
preference?
coffee.
Yeah, like I would say that drinking black coffee is more of like not a tough thing. It's more of like an insecure thing. Like people get insecure if they don't drink black coffee.
I think you do.
Yeah.
You do.
Is this therapy?
Just that if we have a major breakthrough with Doogs right now.
Everyone feels that way, right?
Guys.
Dude, everyone's friends took 15 steroids, all right? Okay, so cauliflower ear versus do we have a problem here? This is a good matchup to go. The winner of this goes into the finals. Start with you, Rudy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, did we just breeze through that?
Yeah.
We're not.
Okay.
That's not even worth a vote. I
No
don't think.
brainer. What was it? Sorry.
Cauliflower ear versus do we have a problem here?
That's tricky. I'm going to go with cauliflower ear simply because, like what KB said, it shows that you have a technical ability. with being uncomfortable, and you're okay with literally being put into compromising positions. Like you get pinned down constantly. Your ears are like trying to survive, literally, and the evidence shows that you are someone who is comfortable with pain in your free time. So that to me is it.
So after that severe glazing from Rudy, how do you feel, KB?
Yeah. No, I'll glaze as well. Me personally, I would. I know some bitches with cauliflower. A lot of small guys who probably can't get into fisticuffs, but they still have something that would leave a shadow of doubt in my head. So I'm gonna go cauliflower.
2 for cauliflower ear, Stephen Chay.
Do any women have cauliflower ear?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's the fastest growing sport in the world.
So that can't be
For
true.
women?
In America.
Women's wrestling?
Women's wrestling is taking off as we speak.
Really?
There's
Oh.
2 broads
Yeah.
wrestling right now somewhere.
Yeah.
One of them just signed
It's
up.
huge. They have like high school tournaments now in every state.
Tommy's thinking like in mud though, in
Yeah.
bikinis, not
2
really
blondes
thinking
with
about
huge tits.
it. Yeah. Jay. This is really you versus KB, more or less. This semifinals.
No, well, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think it's cauliflower ear because, like, do we have a problem here? Can be a front because, like, I mean, I didn't want to fight most of those times. But
Most?
like, if you, some of them.
But
yeah,
it did
definitely
make you
fight.
seem tough enough to stop a fight.
Yeah, but it's like a puffer fish. Like you just go, and then nobody wants to fight like a giant thing that could like maybe kill them. But like
Did you puff up when you said it? Like you like spread out the lats and you're like, real problem?
No, it would be like put him to the side, like be like, slide in, ask the question, and
Very interesting.
de-escalation. Be like, no, we're good. He was just being an asshole. That type of thing.
All right.
Yeah.
So 3 for cauliflower ear then?
Yeah, I think cauliflower just because it's like it's tested, it's true, it happened. Like they didn't get that by faking it.
So 3 for cauliflower ear, Klemmer.
Actually, tech guy Andrew got it from falling off a dirt bike,
That's tough though.
which is it's funny because he did wrestle as a kid, but he got it from a dirt bike accident.
That's actually kind of cool. That's kind of tough though, like Rudy's saying. Klemmer.
Anybody can say, do we have a problem here? You have to have gone through something to get cauliflower ear, and that scares me more. So I'm going to go with cauliflower ear.
Doogs.
People with cauliflower ear have been waiting for someone to ask them at the bar, "Do we have a problem?" And they want to show,
they want it
show
so
you.
bad.
They want to show you that problem. Like I picture like Billy Football going up and being like, "Do we have a problem?" And someone with cauliflower ear being like, "Thank fucking God, this guy asked me."
Great point.
Yeah, thank God.
That's a fucking great point, Tommy.
I would have went, do we have a problem here, guy? But it's mute.
You guys all know Isabel. Isabel once told me a story. She was at a bar and like do we have a problem here to somebody? And they said, yeah, and they pushed her and she cried and left the bar, which is just the best.
Yeah,
You can't puff. The pufferfish is like it's a dangerous game you play. Okay, so cauliflower ear is going to move into the finals. Before we get into the finals, last sponsor of the day, Body Armor Zero Sugar. You're looking at it right in front of you right now. This episode is brought to you by Body Armor Zero Sugar, the brand new zero sugar sports drink from our friends over at Body Armor. Provides real hydration with no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're looking to stay hydrated or recovering from a long weekend, Body Armor Zero Sugar has got you covered with great tasting flavors like fruit punch and lemon lime. Say it every time I do a Body Armor ad. I've never been a lemon lime guy until I had this. This is incredible. I don't know how it works, the science behind it, the technicians, all the people, it makes no sense to me. And if you watch anything Barstool, you'll see Body Armor everywhere. You can see right here, which strategically placed, but then also they're already just drinking Body Armor right over in Chicago. You can see a whole bunch of bottles right around them. See another one right here. We're a big Body Armor office. Another one right here. Huge Body Armor office. We love it over here, and obviously you'll see it all over other athletic leagues too as well. Body Armor Zero Sugar is available in stores nationwide. Head on over to the Body Armor store on Amazon and get yours today. All right. Other side of the bracket: Teardrop Tattoo versus Rough Hands. Tommy Smokes.
Rough Hands. Easy. Like I said, there's an element of crazy with the Teardrop Tattoo. I don't know if you're tough as much as you're just you had a tough upbringing and you somehow ended up in a gang and now you have a teardrop tattoo. That doesn't make you tough. Having rough hands, calloused hands, I think is a definition of toughness.
Rough hands, Doogs.
Yeah, calloused hands doesn't even have to be like you're strong from working out. It's just working on a farm, just doing heavy lifting every single day. I'll take that guy over the guy who could paint on his face.
Klemmer.
Went to high school with a guy. Years later, he was an architect, successful. He came home, found his wife cheating on him, got really drunk, drove away, hit another car, and killed 2 people. In theory, he could have 2 teardrops on his face if he wanted to.
What a insanely dark twist that
Oh my goodness.
Jesus Christ, man.
This guy is not tough. I went to school with him. I know this kid really well. But he, in
Dude,
theory,
you don't
is
get teardrop tattoos for manslaughter.
murderer.
You get teardrop tattoos for murdering someone.
That is kind of a funny premise.
He has a right. Couldn't he?
Vehicular manslaughter.
Couldn't he be like, hey, I earned these?
No, you
I had to
wouldn't.
go
You
to
wouldn't get
jail.
them. That's great. No,
Go to
you
a
don't.
tattoo shop wherever the people get them and be like, hey, I like 2, please, on my face. I killed 2 people.
They don't run your fucking papers, but I don't think it would count for vehicular manslaughter.
Oh, you tell that's you gotta let these people have something.
Jesus
Let them have
Christ.
that.
It's like a gang tattoo.
I thought it was just a murder tattoo.
No, it's like you kill someone. You murdered someone for like
yes.
in a
But
crime.
What if you're not in a gang? Can you still get one?
You just did it like for funsies, like it was like a
No, what if you
non-affiliated.
just a murder? What if you just murder someone? Can you get it? Yeah, I mean,
You might be
still
able to,
be
I don't know.
entitled to the teardrop tattoo.
I feel like it's mostly a
That's the
gang
same
thing.
effect.
I feel like it's mostly a
You
gang.
don't need
Imagine sitting on a stand in a trial, being like, "No, I didn't kill anybody. I didn't murder that guy." You said 3 teardrop tattoos on your face.
Oh, fuck.
going to like a prison.
My point.
I don't know who did it, Judge.
Your Honor, I gotta show you something like white
It is
makeup
funny
off
that
his face.
It's funnier to think of your friend being like, I have to get this now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a very mind-the-book kid too, believe it or not. So I bet I could see him probably having that thought process.
Being petrified of needles, but being like, "Fuck, I killed that guy on Route 68."
I do have to do this.
Part of my penance.
So I think anyone in theory could kill someone, but if you have big hands, strong, tough hands, you're almost definitely tough. That's my point. So I think tough hands is
Like
scarier.
roundabout way of getting there.
All I'm thinking about is a tattoo artist just being like, yeah, can you just get a teardrop right here, and him being like, prove it, let me see it.
Yeah.
Can't do it without the proof.
Or like calling the police immediately.
Googling old articles.
Jay?
That's got to be the worst, like 10 or 15 minutes imaginable. You go home, you see your wife cheat.
Oh, I know.
You
What a night, right?
rage and filled,
Yeah.
leave your home, and then you can probably barely see straight. And
Yeah.
then you go and
Yeah, that's
It's on his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going like full Andy Dufresne.
Yeah.
yes, that was the movie I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yes.
He didn't do it.
Yeah, well,
Didn't do what?
Andy Dufresne's an innocent man.
Oh yeah.
that's what they say. Maybe that's like the big twist of Shawshank. It is King after all. Is that Andy Dufresne did do it.
Yeah.
No, I don't choose.
I've never even considered that. I'm gonna have to look into that.
It's just his inaccurate retelling of events. So Jay?
Teardrop tattoo.
Teardrop tattoo. KB?
Yeah, forget what I said about hands. Listen, if you have a teardrop, you're gonna like bite, you're gonna kill, you're gonna throw an object. Like you're not gonna. That's the person who will murder, who will kill you.
Mm-hmm. So Rudy, it's right now. It's 3-2 in favor of rough hands.
It's definitely teardrop tattoo. I mean, there's you couldn't even get one of those if you tried. Like if you went to a tattoo shop and they're like, I want a teardrop, they'd be like, fuck no, dude.
Really?
Yes,
I
they're
think they're very easy to do, probably on your own.
What about like a
do it on-
tramp stamp teardrop tattato?
Just on your ass, like
Yeah.
What if you were just really sad? Would they put it on you then?
I don't know, dude.
Oh.
I don't think you have to be like be a part of a gang or get it in prison or do it yourself or have a friend do it. Like that tattoo is not a joke, as far as I understand it.
Yeah. All right, so we're tied up teardrop tattoo versus rough hands. I think, again, this comes back to, I kind of agree with Tommy's point where there is like this line between the craziness and the toughness. I do think the rough hands guy is a tougher person, if that makes sense, versus the teardrop guy. Teardrop guy is no doubt crazy and no doubt could kill you. I just don't know if that's the only indicator of someone's toughness, is their ability to just kill you, basically, or their willingness to do that. So I'll go with rough hands. On the other side, we have not wearing sunscreen versus getting hit in the mouth and saying, "Is that all you got?" Rudy.
Sunscreen versus hit in the mouth. Is that all you got? Now I'm thinking of like cartoon characters versus Riggs.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone who's Riggs adjacent. I still think that just not wearing sunscreen is not something that shows toughness. I think it's just like a weird oversight that it's just not like a tough thing. Like I wouldn't, if someone didn't wear sunscreen and got sunburned, I actually would think of them as being less tough. I would think of them as being like a dumb little bitch. You know what I mean? Versus getting socked in the mouth and saying that's all you got is the definition of toughness, because it shows you do not care about pain. So that for sure.
All right, KB.
I still am on the side that this guy is the bitch in the equation. The guy who gets
I like
blocked in the face, gushing blood, missing a tooth, and it has to reduce it to a verbal spat instead of a meat like fight.
Debate me.
Fight. Yeah. He turned it into a debate.
Yeah.
But still, that guy over the sunscreen.
It's Ben Shapiro and Destiny.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro and Destiny. Fuck.
Well, actually,
Is that all you're capable of?
yeah. What about a war of words?
So you're gonna stick with the
No, answer me with your words. Don't punch me again.
Don't straw man me. Don't straw man me. As they get punched in the face.
That's a logical fallacy.
So wait, are you gonna go with the no sunscreen then?
No, never mind. I'm still going
Hit in the mouth.
tooth guy.
It is just such a funny visual because he's like, you clearly hurt him. He's gushing blood. Jay.
Yeah, the gushing blood tooth guy.
The gushing blood tooth guy. Klemmer.
Yeah, same. It's just the sunscreen does not equal toughness or lack of sunscreen there.
All right, it's gonna win, but Doogs.
Yeah, it's the is that all you got? You're just welcoming him to do it again.
Mm-hmm. That's, all right, boom.
Bring it on.
More teeth.
It's the guy who observably already lost, already got clobbed.
Tommy.
Yeah. Is that all you got? But I would like to take a minute to just shout out Riggs. What a beautifully structured and funny tweet from Riggs back in the day. Just a great tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we forget that was a really funny, good tweet.
It deserved to go viral.
It's like probably.
How do we forget that?
That's what inspired it. Yeah. They what do you call it? But how many?
Some guy just called me a pussy for putting on sunscreen, but you think you're tougher than the sun, the fucking sun.
How many total retweets did they get? Was that like the most viral tweet?
I think it had like 500K likes.
Is it like the most viral that anyone that's ever worked here's had though? I feel like it had to be, right? I can't think of anyone that's had some.
While they were working here, I think so.
No, Sass has probably hit millions.
You think millions of like retweets or just
millions is
engagement?
crazy?
No, you just
There
mean
was an era where people were getting the M's.
That's true.
I bet you
Okay,
Sass got one.
so either way, it's gonna be rough hands versus getting hit in the mouth and saying that all you got. Tommy Smokes.
I'll go rough hands, I guess. Because there's just an unspoken toughness to that, where getting in a fight sometimes isn't that tough. Sometimes, but just having, you've been through a lot, and it's just like, here it is. It's not showy. It's just tough hands.
Mm-hmm. Tough hands.
Tough hands versus what?
Getting hit in the face. Saying that's all you got.
Again, I think it's rough hands for me. Like, just somebody on a farm. Like, that guy that lives in that farm that has, like, the makeshift gym.
Oh, yeah.
That's who I'm thinking of. That's, like, the middle of America. Don't think it gets, like, grittier or tougher than that.
Yep. Klemmer?
Yeah, I was leaning more toward the, is that all you got guy? But the more I think about it, the more KB talks about, like, maybe that guy just doesn't want to fight, too. Like, maybe that guy is just, like, gets punched in the face, like, he has yet to exhibit any fighting skills. We know he can take a punch, but it's nothing beyond that. So,
is that taking a punch?
Yeah.
That's definitely taking a punch.
Is that like the anti-Chay?
Yeah.
Like the guy that's saying that, like not like, do we have a problem here? It's like the anti-that. Like,
Yeah,
is that all
kinda,
you
yeah.
got? You're just begging that guy's like, yes, that's all I have for you.
Yeah. Like,
But yeah.
But there is a toughness to want to keep going with this. Like, if I got
Yeah, but
punched
if you
once
wanna
like
keep
that, I'd
going-
be like, all right, fight's over.
but then you
there's
just keep
also
fighting.
But there's a toughness to having tough hands. Like, that is
Oh,
just
yeah.
quiet toughness. So I'm going to go with
Oh, okay. If it came from a sucker punch, then maybe.
Okay, yeah.
But wasn't it originally saying like you spit out a tooth and spit
You
out
did.
the
It's the
blood,
original
and you
thing.
just
This
dunk
was
it
Tommy's,
in?
by the way.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
he
I have a
submitted.
very specific visual of a guy getting punched, spitting out a tooth and blood, and like wiping it, and like kind of looking at the blood on his hands, and then being like, Is that all you got?
Yeah, I don't know how. Like when you literally think about it that way, I don't know how on earth you can think rough hands is tougher than that.
That's true. You know what I'm switching to? Is that all you got?
Like,
I mean,
literally
is it
spitting out
tougher if he's
blood.
not bleeding? Is it tougher to just take the punch and crack your neck and be like, is that all you got?
Well, if you guys, it sounds like you guys already started the fight, and you successfully.
I'm kind of
punched this
imagining,
guy
like
in the
Kenjac said
face.
earlier, it's the guy being like, get one on me, like lay one right here.
Yeah.
Lay one right here, buddy. I'll give you one for
But
free.
if you do that and then you get a tooth knocked out, like that's you
right,
kinda
right,
lose.
right. So it's, I don't know what the perfect toughness version of this, but there is something where you take
The
a punch
perfect
and you
tough-
say, is that all you
It
got?
would be you not getting a tooth knocked out. It would be
Fair.
that same situation, getting punched in the face and just being like not reactive and being like, oh, that's all you got. Like, you know what I mean? That would I think would be the tougher version
But
of it.
spitting out a tooth is sick.
I feel like this has happened in a hockey game.
Probably,
This
yeah.
is
probably.
a movie thing.
Yeah.
I have seen videos of guys who just stood there and let the dude punch him repeatedly in the
Yeah.
face, and that's a tough move.
They do that in like Rough and Rowdy. Like almost every year, one guy
Yeah.
tries that. Like he's just like he puts his hands up and lets the guy wail on him and just doesn't react. And it is very funny every time. And every time I think it's kind of tough. So I don't know. So Klemmer, you're sticking with rough hands. Jay,
Yes.
Yeah, it's so tough because, like KB said, like you've already started the fight. However, who's the? I'm not a big UFC guy, but there was one guy who just had like blood streaming down his face, and he was like eating punches. And this was like a very famous fight that went those I don't know, in the last year or two.
this happens a lot. I feel like.
Do we know who this person is? No.
I know what you're talking about. I can't. Is it Michael Chandler? No.
No.
I'm not sure. There was like Joanna Juszczyk or whatever. She got like a quadruple hematoma and made her head look like an alien, and she just kept fighting, didn't care. Versus Zhang, which was a crazy fight. That was a great fight.
No, I forget.
Or like Nate Diaz.
Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that all you got, motherfucker?
Right.
That
so
voice,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm
It's a good
picturing, I'm
impression.
picturing that. And yeah, because in that situation, you've already started the fight. You've already thrown seemingly your best punch, and the other person saying that's all you got, or like, is that all you got? And then you know they're about to like destroy you because they just took your best punch. Whereas if you have big hands, like you're probably going to get beat up by that person because you won't be able to escape their grip and they're just going to wail on you. But there's still some like uncertainty. Maybe they're big and slow. Maybe like whatever. So I think I got to go with the bloody mouth dude.
The bloody mouth guy. So right now we're 2-2. KB
It's hands over everything, over everything.
over absolutely everything. Rudy.
I think it's the blood one because I don't care about what happened prior or like what the situation is. The notion of being injured, spitting out the blood and not caring is like the definition of toughness because you're ignoring pain. Like having rough hands is a sign of toughness, but like a jockey has rough hands probably.
True.
I wouldn't fuck with a jockey.
I wouldn't either, but like it's still like yeah, they're kind of scary.
Jockeys are horrifying.
They're creepy, like creatures.
Creepy, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
cretins.
like they're sneaky.
Yeah.
I'm still going with the blood just because I think like literally it's just like you don't give a shit about being hurt.
I think so. Off the tiebreak, and I think that the big thing is that like if he wasn't spitting out a tooth and blood and clearly already losing the fight, it would be significantly tougher.
But isn't that he endured more pain and is still
Yeah.
ready to go?
Yeah, I don't think winning or losing the fight has anything to do with it. If anything, him losing the fight worse is a sign of more toughness.
I think the fight has just begun, and like that person just took your best shot, and it did not.
Or
Like there's a difference between tough
tough
and strong. Like even if you get the shit beat out of you, but you're still getting up. Like there's a famous movie scene that I can't think of, but he just keeps getting up, like keep getting ready to get.
You're
hit
talking
again.
about like Captain America, where he's like, I can do this all day, and just keeps getting the shit beat out of him.
Maybe, and like that's tough. That was tough. Wasn't
Yeah.
strong, but it's tough.
Okay, we're just flipping the argument around.
Yeah.
Well, no, we've always been debating toughness.
Okay, so if I clobber someone, knock him out, he wakes up, gets up, is that all you got? I do it again. He keeps saying that.
That's
so
tough that he
would-
keeps doing
Yeah, I
it.
think that's tough.
I mean,
That's
all right,
tough.
That's the toughest guy.
Yeah, I
But
guess
that's
it's,
not. Yeah, that means like the Abel brothers are tough and rough and rowdy. Like
yeah, but
they
they
just
just
keep
lost.
losing and keep coming back though. Like,
Yeah,
I
but
don't-
that's different. Like they want to be in
resilience.
the
That's not
spotlight
tough.
of rough and rowdy.
No, but like, but we're talking about someone being resilient. Then that's
I think
different than
tough
being
and resilient are often synonyms.
I don't think so at all.
I think
They're probably in Merriam-Webster synonyms.
taking the hardest punch is way more impressive than throwing the hardest punch.
I'd agree with that.
Yes,
I'd agree with that
it's
for sure.
tougher.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that for sure. It's kind of swaying me a little bit, but I do think the rough hands is like so. indicative of someone's character. You know what I mean? Like you feel him and you're like, that's a fucking tough dude.
When
right
I look
there.
up tough synonyms, the number 3 one is resilient.
Yeah.
I don't think of it the same way, I guess, because like I feel like I can be resilient, but I could never be tough.
All right.
Maybe
So
tough.
yeah, no, I agree. You think you could be tough, Klemmer?
No. I'm saying I could never be tough, but I feel like I can be resilient.
I mean, when you look up like when we were like researching these earlier, like there's a bunch of like gay articles like mentally tough and all that. Like that's not really what we're talking about.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm very torn. I think getting hit in the mouth. You're right in that if you just keep getting the shit beat out of you, just keep getting off. It is tough, but also you just kind of look like an idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're like, oh, that's all you got, and it's like the guy's like, no, and he hits you harder,
Oh shit! Then you're fucked.
and then knocks out a second or third tooth. Like what happens then? I don't know. I'll stick with rough hands. I think rough hands is just it's more, like if a better hit rate, I guess in this sense. So rough hands versus cauliflower ear in the finals. Starting with you, Tommy Smokes. Or actually, no, we ended with Rudy, right? So Rudy, you go 1st.
I'm going with. I get the tough hand things, but I don't see it quite the same as you guys. I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid as much. I think I've been riding cauliflower ears. I think that is just literally the sign of toughness, in my opinion. So for me, I'm riding with them. Cauliflower ears.
KB's loving this. Where you go?
I'm married to hands. I gotta go hands.
Oh, okay. So 1 for hands, 1-1 right now. Jay?
This is tougher with the additional context of TGA falling off a dirt bike.
Falling off a dirt bike doesn't give you rough hands. It might like take a few fingers off.
Wait, you think that hurts or helps?
Hurts the cause because it's like, oh well, you don't.
But he fell off a motorcycle.
And it's
a dirt bike is different.
Not noticeable cauliflower ear.
That's tough. If he like scraped against the Velcro wall.
Like Dave?
I'm just trying to think. If I was in a situation where I was going to fight someone, would I rather fight someone? And I'm picturing like, again, stereotypical wrestler, 130, 140 pounds, but he got cauliflower, looks tough, or a guy just with giant hands. And I'm picturing
It's not giant hands, it's rough hands.
Rough hands. Are rough hands never giant?
You usually have to get callous to get
Rough
bigger.
hands
So.
They couldn't be giant.
The
Rough hands
size
can
is
come in all
wide.
shapes and sizes.
In my mind, it's like a country dude, like
Yeah.
like works something with wood, like flannel with like beater underneath. I think it might be
Agonizing.
hands. I think it might be hands.
I think it might be hands. 2-1 right now. Klemmer.
Yeah, my dad was a stagehand, and he obviously had a bunch of stagehand buddies, and they all had big hands because they all would like pull rope, and they were all, all had big hands. But a lot of those guys, they were sweethearts. They would never fight anyone. They would never want to fight they would have no interest in a fight. Where if you have cauliflower ear, you've been in more than a couple probably grapples. So I would choose that cauliflower ear just because of my experience of knowing guys with big hands that also would be the least likely to get into a
That's
fight.
the correct take. Yeah.
2-2
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
gonna
Doogs.
I'm gonna switch my vote. to
Oh,
cauliflower.
we're gonna switch. 3-1 right now in favor of cauliflower ear.
I think it's easily hands. I don't think that. I think that a guy with tough hands, it's right off the bat when you meet someone, you feel their hand. You don't even get to talking. You're like, I know this person's tough or not.
I do think you almost.
I agree. I think there's something showy about cauliflower ears, even though it's not. It's
All
obviously
right,
not.
Tommy, I've had enough. What logic are you using right now?
I know that obviously cauliflower ears form naturally. It's not like getting a tattoo, but there is something a little bit more like, oh, look at my cauliflower ears, as opposed to like, look at my tough
But no,
hands.
we're not talking about like the way they display it. I mean, it's like how you got it means that you train technically a lot.
Is
in
that
a
tough
combat
though,
sport.
or is it tougher to just work with
in
your
the
hands?
context of a fight? I
But
think that helps tremendously.
in a fight, yes, but are we just
To be-
equating toughest to best fighter?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that's the case here.
I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, we flipped a lot about like.
I look at it like if I'm at a
I mean, look,
bar,
I'd rather
who scares
fight-
me more.
Yes, that's
That's all I'm looking at. Like tough to me is like what would be the worst situation for me to be in? Both situations would be terrible for me, but which one would be worse?
I
Also,
think
if we're
tough.
go- if we're-
I think toughness isn't just best fighter. There is a little bit of that mental, like the resilience to it. A guy working with his hands all the time, just having those callousy hands. I think that is tougher than a guy
Blue
who
collar.
Maybe wrestled in high school.
So a plumber who works on pipes is tougher than a guy who wrestles other human beings and fights them.
Yeah.
On a
Tough
weekly
life,
basis.
yeah.
He's been through more strife, probably.
No, but they
It's
might.
a
But they
battle.
might not also be a fighter at all. I said I know. These
Again,
guys,
we're not
like Alex
debating what
Buchholz-
makes the best fighter. We're
But
debating.
they would get annihilated in a fight because they don't have that in them.
What about like
But I'm not just taking winner of fight as toughest, which I guess is where we disagree.
Okay, well then, but I was thinking of toughness like your ability to withstand pain.
Yeah,
That's
That
what
too.
I was thinking. So you're saying that a plumber?
Yeah, you're
is
saying a
enduring
plumber
more
than a-
pain than a like
It's
Olympic
possible.
wrestler or an MMA fighter
Who cuts weight every week?
or who gets concussion.
We're not saying like
bleed.
professional. Right? Just somebody with cauliflower doesn't necessarily mean that they're still a professional.
Also, MMA fighters definitely have huge hands, no? Aren't they just punching things for a living?
They should have
McGregor
callous
does.
hands, yeah.
Do you use lotion, Tommy, on your
Now
hands?
there's an
No.
interesting point.
All
Steven.
natural, baby.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
So all people with cauliflower probably have rough hands, but not people with rough hands all have cauliflower.
Let me see your hands.
Mine?
No,
Or
you.
yours?
Cauliflower here.
Kyle.
Cauliflower ear. Hey, cauliflower ear.
I wouldn't say that those.
No, they're not like
very rough.
no.
Oh, I have tiny hands.
Yeah.
You work out, so you're gonna have some yeah, you got some calluses.
Yeah.
pretty-
Yeah, rough hands. Like it's like working out, tugging on a rope,
Yeah.
working
A lot
by
of
the
tugging.
working by the seaport.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're a
working
lot of
by the
seaport guys.
seaport.
Like just like letting the
Being a
flag-
Samoan.
A lot of-
being a Samoan on a pirate ship, just with the flags.
So you're sticking with rough hands?
Yeah.
Fuck, someone with the tiebreak again. Again, I think that the toughness thing is kind of, we're all kind of taking it in different directions. I don't necessarily think it means the person you'd be least willing to fight. I do think it's maybe the person you'd be more like you'd want on your team, maybe.
Yeah.
But not necessarily in a fight.
Team
Just
of
like
But what team?
Not
of
necessarily
what?
on
I
your-
don't
not
know
necess-
how this
what are we
got
playing?
spun
Not
to,
necessarily
like
just
some
in a fight.
abstract concept of like this is like yeah. What I don't get what this debate is.
it's not even necessarily on your team in a fight. If I'm just like, hey, you
So
need
we're
a
still
guy,
fighting.
you need a guy to complete a task with. I would pick. I think like the toughness guy might not be a UFC guy. I might be like, if I like, you need to complete task A, and task A is something that will require somebody who's tough. I think I'd rather the rough hands guy,
Are you saying like if you're doing Survivor and you get one person?
and it's an MMA fighter.
Yeah, I want the
or
tough
I want the
hands
tough
guy.
hands
I
guy
want
for
the
sure.
tough hands guy.
But that's confusing strong. It's like someone who could pick up a car might not necessarily be,
No.
be like someone I would want to fuck with.
No, I would say the rough hands guy
I mean,
in
I
a
don't want to fuck with anybody,
Survivor
believe me.
Survivor situation. I'm like, that guy has actual technical skill, and I don't like fighting. Like, yeah, in its own art, sure, but like I mean, like this guy has an actual, tangible, real skill that he can apply in the real world. So like, I think that is another like sort of thing that adds onto your toughness.
So tough is a skill set.
I think not necessarily.
I mean,
just think
here's the thing about tough is it
enduring
has
pain.
a million definitions.
Like the plumber has
No, it
seen
doesn't.
shit.
It doesn't.
Tough has a lot of.
I feel like Rudy, KB, and I are doing our own thing, and everyone else has a whole different.
You
view
can
of
you
it.
can do tough.
Enduring pain.
Well then you
All right.
we should be taking. Is that all you got?
Tough, capable of enduring strain, hardship, or severe labor. Severe labor. That's just you're
Labor.
describing rough
Severe
hands.
labor,
Hardship.
The, hands,
The
that's
plumber
good for
has
hands,
legitimately
actually.
seen shit.
Yeah, literally.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
This goes to
Fuck,
Babel,
he sold me.
yeah.
He sold me. Rough hands. Rough hands. Rough hands is the winner. I'm voting for
Oh
rough
my
hands.
God.
Final
You
one.
voted for it, KB.
You voted for it the whole
Yeah,
way.
that's
out of respect and humility.
Can't be upset. Yeah.
The winner of the
Oh,
bracket,
man.
I
episode
tried.
122, is rough hands beating out cauliflower by a single
This
vote.
is-
What is so upsetting about it?
We'll let the people decide.
Yes, I'm happy with my.
And keep in mind that KB voted for rough hands.
Yeah,
which was a tough thing to do, and I respect you for it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank
We had a couple of honorable mentions. Nothing crazy, I don't think. Or are these all just the chains that I recopied? No. Cigarette behind the ear was one. Yeah, cigarette ones I think we kind of got over. An anchor tattoo on the shoulder. Not caring about your significant other's feelings.
Yeah, that's tough as fuck.
Did you say that one?
Yeah.
Just makes you an asshole. What makes you
Yeah, it just kind of makes you a jerk off.
I don't have time for this.
Not blowing on your soup or something hot or cool before you eat it.
You've
Like,
never seen a tough guy blow on his French onion soup
Yeah.
before eating it. He just dives right in.
a guy that
My brain damaged uncle does. It doesn't matter how hot that soup is or that chili.
He's all in.
That might be the same as like the
Takes to the
sunburn
face.
though. Like that's just dumb.
yeah.
Yeah.
Brain damaged uncle. And then the last one, someone just submitted on Twitter, just said micro penis. I don't know. It made me think.
I mean, that guy just definitely has a micro penis.
That's like the muscles thing.
It stopped and made me think. Like, would a guy with a mic? He's had definitely a tough life. I don't know if that would make him tough, but yeah. But yeah, that's it for episode 122. We'll be back next week with a new topic. Be sure to tune in then.